This video is going to be hard. I felt like I should come on here and give y'all an explanation, which I know y'all don't need one. I consider everybody that watches my channel family. But since my last video, the vacation trip we did with the boys before school, that next week has been really hard on me and my family. I said I was going to do this video and not cry, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know it's probably going to happen. But I just wanted to let y'all know why I haven't been videoing and why it may take me a little bit to get back into the swing of things. So Thursday that week, we decided to do a water day again, but it was a back to school bash, celebrate my brother, my sister's birthdays, and then my mom and dad's anniversary as well. So that Wednesday, I started cutting grass, and my dog, Bossy, I've had her since Weston was born. I pretty much raised her with my boyfriend working and stuff. It was on me to teach her all the stuff and all that. Long story short, we always hook her up in the front yard on her chain to let her out and stuff because it's easier for my mom in case she's the one letting her out or anything like that. We've been doing it for almost a year now, and we've had no issues with it. And Wednesday, when I was getting the yard together, weed eating, cutting grass, all that, I was weed eating around the house, and when I made it to the front yard, she had jumped through this teeny hole that we didn't think she could fit in, and she hung herself. So that was very traumatic for me, and I bawled and cried, and we buried her in the backyard. My neighbor, he helped. My boyfriend was at work, of course, so my neighbor helped and dug a grave for her and put a cross up for her. So that was the first traumatic experience for me. And Thursday, we had a great time. All my family showed up. Everybody had a blast. Everything was great. The party went well. We all had a good time. When we had got back from the camping trip with the boys, we had got a call about my Aunt Janet not doing well, and she was in the hospital. And my mom had called the nurse's station because her fiance that had called, mom just couldn't understand everything he was saying. And my Aunt Janet is a very headstrong woman, do it yourself, don't need nobody type person, bullheaded, all that. Growing up, I was very close to her. I would go up. She had got cancer at one point. I went up and stayed with her. My Aunt Janet and me were very, very close. So mom had called the nurse's station. We had got back Sunday. Mom had called the nurse's station, and they said that she just had fluid around her heart and stuff, and they were treating her and everything would be fine. And then out the blue, Friday, I was doing Weston's hair because we were supposed to go meet his teacher that night. And I was doing his hair, and Dad got a call. And I didn't know who had called him, but I knew he was sitting beside me pretty much when I was doing Weston's hair. And he got a call, and he's like, "What's wrong?" I could tell it wasn't a good call. Never did I expect it to be what it was, but I could tell it wasn't good. And he finally got off the phone, and he was telling me that the doctors and Aunt Janet called mom and told her that we have two options. We could either put Aunt Janet on a ventilator, which in the end result she would pass away, or we would put her on comfort care and she would pass away. So that it tore us up because we couldn't understand how we went from fluid on the lungs and she was going to be fine to 5 days later it's over. So I told mom, I said, well, we're leaving. My aunt lived in South Carolina. We're originally from Pennsylvania, but she had moved with her fiance to South Carolina. So it's a 7-hour trip. I told mom I was going to take Weston to meet his teacher because I needed to do that. And as soon as I was done, we were going to pack and leave. Well, in the meantime, I called my nephew. We called family members, let them know what's going on, let them know we're leaving. They're more than welcome to come, that kind of thing. my family has always been the type that anything goes on with anybody, we drop everything and we're there. We stay by your side. We don't leave. We're there till you're better or whatever. So that night we packed everything. My nephew ended up going with us. He drove my mom and dad. We didn't want them driving 7 hours. Where we live in Tennessee, it was 7 hours to get to South Carolina. We did not want them driving 7 hours by themselves. So I was going to drive all of us, me, my boyfriend, my 2 kids, and my mom and dad in my dad's car. And we would have fit. It was tight, but we fit, And then my nephew opted to go. So he actually drove my mom and dad, and I drove my boyfriend and the 2 kids. And we left about 9 o'clock, which we had got the call. I know my mom came home about 2. So she probably got the call around 12, 1 o'clock on Friday. And we, we're driving. Everything's, going good as far as the trip and stuff. And my whole thing was I wanted my kids to meet her, regardless of the outcome. I wanted them to meet her and see her and stuff like that. And about 2 hours into the trip, her fiance Lanny called and told us that she had just passed. So that was really hard. We pulled over and I was sad, but I'm more angry than anything because I wanted to see her, I wanted to hug her, all that, and for her to be so bad off and not tell us, which is in her character not to, but that's it's just terrible. It's the worst thing ever. So we got up there about Saturday morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning. We got hotels and stuff, and then we went to the funeral home to make arrangements, and that was hard. We didn't get to see her then either, which at that point, I don't know. It was a really hard time, and for my mom as well. Me and my mom were the closest to her. My sister is 10 years older than me, so when she was a child, she spent time with Aunt Janet, but as she got older and stuff, not as much. Me, I spent a lot of time with her, and when somebody dies, you go through the regret. Should have done this, should have done that, I should have called, I should have been there, all that stuff. I guess she had told Lanny, her fiance, that she wanted to be cremated and took up to where my grandma is buried in Pennsylvania and either spread over her or buried beside her. So Lanny said he would handle that. At the funeral, it was really hard. Me, I'm the type of person, when I'm headed to one, I feel it. I know it's coming. I know what we're going to do, all that. Thank God my boyfriend was with me because he was very supportive in trying to keep the kids and stuff like that so I could deal with everything and all that. But so at the funeral, the whole ride there was terrible for me. I pretty much bawled the whole time. Once we got there, I really didn't want to go in, I've been in denial. I think I'm still slick in denial that she's gone. I feel like I could call her at any point and talk to her, even though I know that's not going to happen anymore. But it was nice seeing all the people that have been in her life, her work friends and stuff like that. Every time they came in, I know they probably thought I was crazy, but I wanted to hear stories, and me and Aunt Janet talked and stuff, but it wasn't a lot. Going to see her would have been the best thing for me because then I would have known she was happy, So I had all these questions about, just everything, how she died, how do we go from this to that? Was she happy in her life? Was she, all that, it was killing me. And so as the workers would come in and stuff, and she had a million people come in that funeral home. I always asked them stories, do you have any stories? And they would tell us stories about her. So that made me feel better. But I still hadn't found, I was searching for that friend of hers. I didn't know who her friends were. I didn't know the person, you know, she spilled her guts to, which she's not that type of person anyway. So to find that person was rare, you know. And at the end of the funeral, this person showed up, and her name was Robbie. And the way she talked and the way she acted, I knew it was her. So me and my mom and my brother, and I think my nephew were outside, just taking a break, you know, from entertaining everybody and all that. And she pulled up. And when she pulled up, like I said, just hearing her talk and the way she acted, like, I could see my Aunt Janet being best friends with her and stuff. And so, you know, she started talking, and like, one thing we kept hearing is how bad off Aunt Janet was. And I think that hurts me more than anything, just because the type of family we are, we always show up for each other. And like, you didn't give me the opportunity, I would have left. I would have been up there taking care of her, everything like that. They said that what started everything was in January. She had a fall. And see, she's the younger sister. My mom is older than her. So that's, you know, like, this was so, mind-blowing, unexpected, that it hurts, you know, like. But anyway, so she had a fall, and she had hit her back really bad. And that's what snowballed everything. And so after that, you know, they said she was showing up to work with a walker, and people were helping her get out, and that kind of stuff. Like I said, it just kills me, because it's like, I would have been there, I would have helped you, I would have done anything. And I know she knows that. So, you know, I can't really just keep being upset about it. But so I guess for like the last 3 weeks, she had been in a lot of pain and suffering and stuff like that. Apparently she had a wound on her leg that she was getting took care of at the job site, because she was an RN. So, you know, she had nursing friends, and they were, you know, keeping her wound clean and stuff like that for her. But, you know, it's something, like I said, we weren't prepared for this at all. Like, I guess a piece of me is mad at her, because it's like, you should have told me. And then, like, my boyfriend's like, you know, the type of her, he didn't get to meet her. And he says, the person that you've told me, and I've told him for years, I wanted him to meet her and stuff, because she's that person, like, she's so awesome. And he said, the person you described to me for years, he said, I can see her not telling y'all that she was dying. And I'm like, yes. And I know, like, if you've dealt with death before, then you know, like, you're gonna go through the emotions of anger and sad and everything. And that's kind of what I'm going through. I feel like she should have called and made up something to make us come up there, like, oh, you know, I need help cleaning my house or something. Just something. You don't got to tell me that you're dying, but at least at the end of the day, like, how this happened, I could have said, well, at least we made it up there, you know. So I have a lot of regret, you know. And I've dealt with it with my grandma's death. I had a lot of regret, and I was younger and stupider, and I went through a really hard, bad spiral after she had passed in 2008. So this right here, I feel like God gave me my kids, because he's like, you can't do that again, you know. And with kids, like, I don't know, I've dealt with it hard, because I haven't really, like, just sat down and told anybody how I feel. I'm keeping it all inside, so it's hard, it's bothering me. I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm sad, you know, I'm sleep depressed, you know, everything. But if you have kids and family count on you, like, you don't have time to show it. Like I said, the whole time we were up there for about a week. The whole time we were up there, like, the showers are the worst for me, because in the shower, I'm alone. I'm by myself. I have time to think. I'm crying, you know, everything, because I'm trying to be strong for my mom. My mom, I know she's worried about me, because, like I said, I have not taken death well. I mean, who takes it well, to be honest? But me, I struggle really hard. And the fact of not seeing her and everything, like Friday when we were driving up, I really figured we would get up there, we would get to see her. Like, our plan was, we weren't even going to get a hotel. We were going to go straight to the hospital, see her, and then worry about everything else. And the fact that we didn't make it, you know, that bothers me even more. Like, nobody was beside her. Nobody, you know, I mean, her fiance was or whatever, but we haven't even met him before this time. So that was, you know, extremely hard. Going to her house, meeting him. I don't know, like, I was searching for a piece of her. That Robbie lady, man, if she ever sees this video, like, I hope she understands how much she helped. I mean, I'm not over it. I'm not through it. I still got a lot of issues that I'm going to have to deal with. But, you know, my brother, my nephew, my sister, they all showed up and showed out, you know, like, being there, supporting us and everything. Everybody knew Aunt Janet, but it was me and my mom that was, like, the closest to her and had that relationship with her. So it just, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard. With this video right here, I just pulled up to Walmart. I have to get a few things. We came home yesterday. Or no, we came home Wednesday. Thursday was yesterday. It was a hard time for me. Weston's first day of kindergarten was yesterday. I'll try to insert a clip here of him for kindergarten. And, you know, like, after a death, like, me personally, I want to just lay in my bed and cry and work through it, you know. But with kids and life, I don't have that option. So I've been having to, like, keep going, all that, you know, act like nothing's wrong. I explained to Weston, my kids did go to the funeral. I explained to Weston, you know, like, my aunt got sick and she passed away. She's in heaven now. You know, we do believe in God and stuff. So, you know, it was easy trying to explain to him everything. And then when we got in the funeral home, of course, I had to pee. Weston did too. So I'm trying to prepare myself to see her and stop crying because, like I said, you know, the whole ride there, like, it started as soon as we left the house. My brother had rented my whole family a Verbio house so we could be together. And before we left the house, like, you know, it was hitting. I knew where I was going, you know, like, trying to keep it together as much as I could. And when we got in the bathroom, I told Weston, I was like, Weston, you know, my aunt's going to be in here. And I said, I'm going to cry. And he was like, okay. And I said, well, you know, it's hard for me to even talk to him because I didn't want to start crying then. And then trying to explain to a 5-year-old, you know, there's a dead body laying in here. Like, it's hard. But I told him, I was like, you know, Wes, I'm probably going to cry when we go in here. And he's like, okay. And I said, my aunt's in here. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, she's dead, you know. And he was like, well, why is she dead? And I said, remember, I told you she was very sick and she passed away and went to heaven. And I said, we're going to go in and see her and, you know, then we'll bury her and stuff. I didn't want to even bring up cremation. That's a whole nother, and I don't want him scared either, you know, but I knew he was about to walk in here and see her laying in this casket. So I wanted to prepare him enough that, you know, he wouldn't be scared or nothing like that. So, which when we went in, you could tell he was eager to see, but him and Messiah both behaved so well. For about 3 hours, the first 3 hours, you know, they sat down, didn't really, you know, act up, nothing like that, which my boyfriend, he already knew, like, he was going to take them back to the house because it started at 12, and from 12 to 1 was like the family viewing, and then from 1 to 6 was friends and family. So we knew we were going to be there for a while and stuff. So he was prepared, like, if they started acting up or something like that, to take them home and let them, you know, chill and stuff. So that's what we did. I don't know. I know I'm kind of rambling, but it's hard to talk about, and I don't want to cry and stuff like that, especially, you know, I know you guys would understand, but with this video right here, any comments, anything you've been through, like, any of that will be greatly appreciated. I'm really still trying to work through it, This is the second day we've been home. We got home Wednesday around like 5-ish, 3-ish. It was 5. We got home around 5. So, and dropping Weston off at school yesterday, and my mom took off the rest of the week. So she kept Saya while I ran to take Weston to school, and dropping him off and having that first moment just alone, like, it was really hard. I really went through everything in my head, and it's just not fair to me, and life is never fair, and I know it's God's plan. I know all of that stuff, but at the same token, like, you're still human. You're still gonna go through, like, why did this have to happen? It's not fair. Be mad, all that. I do believe she's with God. I know His will be done. I know all that. But at the same token, I feel like you have to have your time to be mad and grieve and go through the emotions. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. Today is a little bit easier, a little bit better. Waking up this morning, it wasn't, it's on my mind, but it wasn't as hard as yesterday. And then, dealing with the kids and stuff like that keeps me distracted. So it's a little bit easier. Each day will get easier. It's just, I feel like I'm still working through the denial, because I feel like I can call her. I looked at my phone the other night, and I had texted her before we left, letting her know, like, we're leaving. You've been a strong woman all my life. I've seen so many things you've overcome and stuff like that. Just hang in there. We're leaving about 9. I'll be by your side by 5:30. And yeah, so to get 2 hours in and get that call, it was funny because we were sitting in traffic, and I called Mom just to mess with her and stuff. And they actually were 2 cars behind us. Like, we weren't following each other because we both have GPS and whatever, But when we hit the traffic, they were actually 2 cars behind us. So I called to mess with her, and we were cutting up about, semis trying to get in and stuff like that. And, and then she's like, hold on, Lenny's calling. So she clicked over, and then she's like, hey. And Jenna's gone. And, my first reaction is I want to just bust a window, punch something. Like, I was just so angry. I think now I've kind of worked, I'm not over the anger of it, but I think I'm getting through the anger to the sad part, and then hopefully, you have no option but to keep going with life. Everybody wants to bundle up and just, give up. But so I did good. I teared up a little bit, but I didn't like bust into tears. I know, like I said, I didn't have to give y'all an explanation, but I'm really trying to build my YouTube channel and have that support, that friends and family type feeling with you guys and stuff. And I do want to be transparent about pretty much everything in my life. And maybe me sitting here talking about God and what I went through and everything like that, maybe somebody's going through it as well, and it'll help. Or maybe you guys can leave me comments, and I can read your stories and stuff, and that'll help, me. That's what I really want this channel to be like, like, you see my day-to-day life. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm pretty routine. Same stuff every day, different day kind of stuff. But so yeah, I just wanted to tell y'all what has been going on and why I haven't been on here. I am gonna try to get in the swing of things, but it's hard right now because, like, last night my sister called and she's like, oh, we're doing my niece's birthday party. And I'm like, a birthday party? Like, I can't go celebrate a birthday party when I really just want to lock myself in my room and cry for the rest of the day. So, I called my niece and talked to her and told her, which her mom understood, and her mom had told her, me and Ma was like really the closest ones to Aunt Janet and stuff, so we may not feel like throwing a party that day. So it was nice that she understood it and stuff. Of course, I feel bad about that. I cried when I talked to her because I'm like, I've never not come, but it's just at this point in time, like, being happy is the last thing, I'm trying. It's not that I'm not trying to be happy. you know, you guys know. I'm sure you've dealt with it before. But I'm going to stop rambling. Again, I just want to say I appreciate y'all being with me and understanding, which I know y'all are going to understand and probably tell me, oh, you didn't even have to make this video, blah, 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 all that stuff. That's why I love you guys. But I wanted to make the video. I wanted to be able to not like bawl the whole time. I knew I would tear up at different parts and stuff like that. But I've gotten pretty good at holding it in. I've learned some tricks, you know, look up to the sky, swallow type stuff, you know, trying to hold in the tears and stuff and everything like that. But I'm going to go in here at Walmart and get a few things just for the weekend. And then Sunday after church, which I'm debating. I really don't want to go to church, which is bad. I want to go to church because I feel like I need prayer and I need support. But at the same token, it's like, I'm not ready for everybody to come up to me and give me hugs and tell me stuff because I'm going to cry. So we'll see what happens. I do want to go to church. I want them to pray over Weston starting school. I would like to have prayer to just repent for the thoughts I've had with everything going on with my aunt and stuff, and just to ask for support and, you know, but anyways, I gotta quit rambling or we'll be on here forever. I just wanted to tell y'all what was going on and stuff. I would have tried to make a video before this telling y'all, but it was just a really hard time for us. It still is. We're 2 days out. The funeral was Tuesday. So, and then having to leave, like, I don't know, it's really hard. So, just pray for me and pray for God's loving hand around me and my family. My mom and me especially, while we're still trying to accept and understand everything, you know. But I thank y'all so much. I love y'all so much. Sunday after church, I do plan on getting an order for the week, and I will do my best to make a video. I will try. It's just kind of hard right now. So, and like I said, I know you guys understand, and I am sorry for rambling. But yeah, so I'm going to get off of here, go in and pick up these few things. I'm not going to video me picking these up. I'm not going to do a grocery haul with these few things. But I will try and do one Sunday when I get the weekly order and try to start, you know, back to making videos. Weston had a staggered day where he goes the whole day, but it's just one day yesterday. And then he starts like school from here on out on Thursday. So Thursday will be his like first day of school for the rest of the year. And then yeah, so we're gonna go in here, get this stuff, and then like I said, I'll try and talk to y'all a little later, maybe, or maybe I'll post this video with the hopes of getting back on track Sunday. But thank y'all for listening to me, and thank y'all for being there. And like I said, just any comments about what you've been through, what you've experienced, I think it really helps. Like hearing the people talk about Aunt Janet and stuff, and like their stories about her, it made the funeral not fun by any means, but it made it easier because we're hearing all the good stories about stuff that went on with her life. It's like, it was like we were visiting her and getting to know everything. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, and jump off of here. And I love y'all. Thank y'all for all the support, all the love. Please leave a comment. I think it'll really help me to read different things. But love you. Bye. Here is a couple clips of Weston before he went to his first day of kindergarten. He's so cute.